watched a movie called Lured from 1947. I went back and forth about whether or not I should talk about this movie because it's not really a horror movie at all. It's more of a mystery thriller. But since we're kind of going into that territory sometimes now, I decided I would. And I enjoyed this so much that I just had to talk about it.
I had never even heard of this movie.
I had not either,
Okay.
but I discovered it on Turner Classic Movies, and I looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes, and it got 100%. I was like, wow, I need to check
Yeah, it was
this
two
out.
reviews.
Huh?
2 reviews, and both of them from the writers.
You know what? I forgot to put down how many reviews it was, but it did get 100%.
Okay.
That was my first surprise. My second surprise was that it is directed by one of my favorite directors. It was directed by Douglas Sirk. He is the German director that didn't really become well known until the 1950s with melodramas like Magnificent Obsession, All That Heaven Allows, Written on the Wind, Imitation of Life. Remember that one?
Yep.
Here he is directing a thriller in the 1940s. So I was like, okay.
Wow.
It's actually a remake of a French film called Personal Column. They wanted to change the name because they thought lured sounded too much like lurid, but Douglas Sirk said no. The movie's called Lured, so he had a little bit of pull. Another thing that surprised me about this movie was the cast. This movie stars Lucille Ball.
Wow.
Yeah. It also has George Sanders, who we have talked about a lot lately, and he is becoming one of my favorite actors.
Yeah. He's a good actor. He's a great actor.
He is. He's very good. He's the one that committed suicide and said that he was bored with life or whatever.
And I just read a thing where I think it was Tyrone Powers died on the set of a movie. They were rehearsing a sword fight or filming a sword fight together. And he died on set of a heart attack, but is with George Sanders. That's who was doing the sword fight with. That's why that name came up.
Yeah, George Sanders has been creeping up in our talks a lot lately. This also stars Charles Coburn and George Zucco, who you would recognize as actors from that time period. They're kind of like character actors. A synopsis is a serial killer in London is murdering young women he meets through personal columns of a newspaper. He announces each of his murders to the police by sending them a cryptic poem. After a dancer disappears, the police enlist an American friend of hers, Sandra Carpenter, to answer these advertisements in the personal columns and lure the killer.
Wow.
So, yeah, cool. It's a great, I mean,
I love the premise.
Yeah, 1947, but you can picture it. Boris Karloff is used so skillfully in this movie. He only has like one scene, but he is the biggest red herring because, you know, the minute you see Boris Karloff in this movie, he's the killer.
He's the killer.
You know he's the killer.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's not. Surprise.
Dang,
so they used
spoiler.
him. Yeah, I'm not going to say any more because I don't want to spoil it, even though it's almost 100 years old.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend it. And Lucille Ball is not her crazy, kooky self that she was 3 or 4 years later on the I Love Lucy show. This is her playing, you know, a dancer that goes undercover. So.
Well, when you see her play straight, she's great. She's a really good actress. So I agree with that. That's cool. That's neat. I
thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not a horror movie, but it is kind of a suspense thriller. So.
Start the car. Johnny has the